Previously on Ladies of Letters.
Life has just become so hectic since Bill's been paying me attention.
Bingo.
What are you doing at Christmas?
Bill suggested that the three of us might go away for a weekend. Bill and I never meant to end up in bed together. Oh, good, is there a letter? Oh, hello, I'm here. Oh, is there a letter for me? Dear Irene, I can't come over this weekend as it's over to Great Potterton for the Bring and Buy, but I could come the weekend after. How about if I come on the Wednesday and stay till the following Tuesday? I'd have to be back then as it's my Scientific and Geographical Society on the 31st and we're having a talk on Scottish heather. Oh, look at me rushing on, and I haven't even said thank you for the kind invitation. Of course, I'd be glad to keep you company. I'm sure it's very depressing having time on your hands on a Sunday. Did you say that your daughter, Leslie, and family are thinking of going to Australia? Oh. My daughter, Karen, has split up with her husband, Kevin. Did I mention? She said finding the crab was the last straw. It's very odd because she's always been so fond of seafood. Oh, children can be such a worry, especially if they're so far away. I haven't seen my son Howard since he went to live in the country. Some village he and his friend found when they walked the Pennine Way. Oh. When he told me he was going to Derbyshire, I thought he meant for the weekend, not for 2 years. Well, I must finish as I've got to get stuck into my gattos and fancies for the Bring and Buy. I always do the teas, and I pride myself on a glorious spread. Last year, I did 15 kinds of puddings. Several are still in the deep freeze. Well, see you all being well on the 25th. Warmest regards, Vera. Oh, P.S. The picture window is a long story involving my parting of the ways with our mutual friend, Bill. I won't bore you with it now, except to say that I was very disappointed. I'd always understood that reinforced glass could withstand the heaviest of flung objects, including golf clubs.
Dear Vera, by all means come on the 25th. I've spent the whole morning rejigging my arrangements and have managed to clear the whole 6 days. So, don't worry, my time will be your time. I can't wait to catch up. Must go now as I'm busy rolling out the red carpet. Kind regards, Irene. Dear Irene, I'll have to come on the train as Karen wrote my car off on Saturday. She rang me for the lay-by to say she'd had a little sprang, as she called it. Miss,
When I got to the car and saw the damage, I could have wept. Completely stoved in from bonnet to boot. Mercifully, Karen was still alive, though frankly that was a situation I could cheerfully have altered. I suppose it was silly of me to get so upset, but as Karen said as she dragged me sobbing back onto the hard shoulder, "Oh, for God's sake, Mother, it's only a car, claim on the bloody insurance." But to me, that little fiesta was like family. I was closer to it than I've ever been to Karen. Anyway, I shall be arriving on the 3:45 on Wednesday. Never mind the red carpet, just have a gin and tonic ready. Looking forward immensely to seeing you. All the best till then, V.
having received your letter, I had to nip down to the village to get some gin, because I don't normally keep spirits in the house. Then I suddenly remembered the cricket club ladies' night dance on Friday, and I'd forgotten completely to put it in my calendar. Well, being the widow of an ex-vice captain, of course, I am naturally expected to attend, and this year I have been chosen to present the spot prize. So, really, I simply can't let them down. Well, I raced round to see Arthur Snushaw, who organises the whole thing, and I explained the dilemma. Still clutching a bottle of gin, I later realised. I don't know what he made of that. Anyway, the upshot was that he said he'd be delighted to have an extra spare lady, so you're welcome to come. I hope this letter reaches you in time to organise some sort of long dress for the occasion, because it is a formal do. I'll see you Wednesday.
Oh, my very dear Irene. Well, here I am, back in Cozumere, and feeling very down in the dumps. Words are inadequate, well, they so frequently are, aren't they, to express my thanks for such a splendidly enjoyable time. I've often thought penning an opera the only really satisfactory way of expressing great emotion.
They've been all You've had a good journey.
Yes,
Let me
it's
take
windy
your
this morning.
And he says,
It's a lovely house, it's gorgeous.
can you manage the door?
Beautiful time. I never knew it would be so wonderful. You're a dark horse, keeping quiet about that nice young curate, Bruce, till he appeared at Sunday lunchtime. Oh, that was a merry gathering, wasn't it?
Mary. Huh?
Oh, I hope he was all right for evensong.
She should talk. I've never seen anyone drink that fast, neither man, woman nor pig.
He reminded me of Gideon, a young man I was once in love with. He took me to a tennis club New Year's Eve dance, and we made many revelations to each other in the back of his Ford Prefect. And the next morning he wrote me a note informing me he was taking holy orders. I was very young at the time, but I thought my life had ended. Oh, what a charmer Arthur Snushaw is! Oh, he apologised so profusely. I don't know how you have the heart to be angry with him. It was an honest mistake and easily made when you're 3 sheets to the wind.
And the rest of it?
Oh, I thoroughly enjoyed presenting the prize, even though the winning couple did stand on my fishtail. It's a good job I inherited Mabel Thrush's singer. But I was quite at a loss with the jokes about waiting for tickles and bowling maidens over. My hubby Gerald wasn't a cricket player. In fact, all your friends were very hospitable and pleasant. I don't know why you warned me about Dorothy Baker's staff. She had nothing but kind words to say about you, including that Clive had led you a dog's life and you'd made an amazing recovery. And your cooking was, well, what can I say? Prolific. Telephone. Oh, that was my daughter, Karen. Apparently she's coming on a visit. She never comes on a visit at this time of year. It's always August for my birthday or Christmas. Oh, she was as brief as ever. When I asked what was wrong, she slammed the receiver down. Oh, I do hope we're not... Oh, well, never mind. Oh, well, I better close now, as I must scurry round and get some food in. Oh, and I must remember to put the picture up that she gave me last Christmas. Oh, and remove Kevin from the wedding photographs. Oh, well, a million thanks, and toodle pip, Vera. Oh, P.S., I've just thought what the opera would be called, The Merry Widow.
Vera, as a child, I tried to honour my father and my mother, who had sacrificed everything for my education at Tavistock Road School for Girls, by working hard and trying to excel, despite the fact that I was never a top-notch intellectual. So I'm sure you can imagine my delight when, in my final year, I was awarded the King James Bible for neatness. I can remember to this day the pride with which I mounted the platform in my darned but immaculately laundered uniform to receive the prize from Miss Frobisher herself. The school hall resounded with cheers, and I think I can honestly say that I have never been happier in my life. When I returned to my place, pressed by the girls to show them my award, I opened the book to the inscription page, only to find not my name, but that of Irene Springthorpe, a stocky girl in 4B with head lice. On seeing my distress, of course, Miss Frobisher told me it was an obvious error, and she suggested that it could be scratched out and amended, but as it was a prize for neatness, I naturally declined. They say that pride comes before a fall. In my case, they both came practically simultaneously. Even though I look at this Bible every day, I can never open it without a sense of cruel injustice. The handing out of spot prizes at the ladies' night dinner dance was to have been an honour bestowed upon me by the cricket club in recognition of my doing the catering for the players' refreshments for 25 years. And carrying on to this day, despite my husband not playing for the team after he died 3 years ago. I can forgive Arthur Snooshall for his mistake, because he told us later that he was wearing the wrong glasses, but I find it very difficult to come to terms with your selfishness in not pointing out the error and just capitalising on it to hog the limelight.
Hog the what?
And another thing you might be amused by is that your friend Dorothy Bickerstaff has every reason to say that Clive led me a dog's life, since she was the bitch who led him astray when Leslie was teething and I had temporarily let myself go. Trust you to like her. You are so easily taken in. As for your allegations about Bruce and myself, I can assure you that our relations go no further than his kind offer to help me over a couple of sticky points in St. Paul's epistles to the Ephesians. I trust you will take this letter in the spirit it is intended, and that you will try to have more thought for others in future, instead of sailing gaily through their lives, treading on their corns. Kind regards, Irene. Oh!
Dear Irene, I hardly know how to respond to your last. I'd no idea I was giving such offence. My jokey tone was an attempt, misplaced now I see, to jolly you out of the doldrums you were in during the latter half of my visit. I'm sure just a little harmless teasing cannot have produced this response. I can only think there's something else going on of a more personal nature, perhaps involving that young curate. Oh! Incy bit tender on that little piggy went to market, dear. By the by, I certainly didn't mean to imply he was a toper. Not that that in itself would be unusual in a member of the cloth. The vicar that married Gerald and I could hardly stand up. Come to think of it, neither could Gerald. He started the service with ashes to ashes. Oh, it's prophetic now when you look at it. But I digress. Could we skip the corn shaving this week, dear, and cut straight to the massage? On rereading your letter, I'm reminded of the dreadful time I fell out with my ex-best friend, Muriel. She was convinced at the time that I was after her boyfriend, which was utter nonsense. I mean, anything can happen when you're playing sardines. She didn't speak to me for a month, and I was so upset I actually contemplated suicide, and even went so far as an overdose of my mother's milk of magnesia. Ah, 13's such an emotive age, isn't it? Oh, are you sure you wouldn't like a drink? I am sorry about your awful childhood. It excuses a lot. I told myself again how lucky I was. My father may have been tyrannical, but he was a natural musician. And of course, I was always at the centre of a group of friends and admirers. It's been a week for breakages. Karen dropped my best Denbyware casserole on the floor on Sunday. I've been scraping chicken a la king off the walls ever since. She said I made her jump. But I asked you, if you can't go into your own kitchen without knocking, where can you go? I didn't say anything. The fact is, she was as jumpy as a cat all weekend. She's obviously got something on her mind. But of course I'll be the last to know what it is. Well, my dear, I do hope that's put the record straight between us. I'm sure in a saner moment you'll realise how highly I value your friendship. As I said to Karen at the weekend, I had no idea that women could be so close. She gave me a usual sarcastic look and asked me if I was on the turn, but wouldn't deign to reply to my query into what. If I live to be 100, that girl will remain a mystery. I hope you feel better soon. With very best wishes, Vera.
Dear Vera, where are you? I've been trying to phone you, and you're never in, and you haven't left your answer machine on. You know, I have been living under a cloud for weeks. And now the worst has happened. You know, my stupid son-in-law, Keith. Well, he's only gone and got that job he was after in Wollongong, New South Wales, Australia. I felt quite convinced that he wouldn't get it. I mean, I know for a fact that his spelling is shocking. And then there was another chap from Huddersfield who they wanted much more than him. He turned out to be HGV positive, so he didn't want to do long distances. Anyway, the upshot is that Leslie and Keith left yesterday for Australia and took my baby girl with them. I mean, what sort of a country is that to bring a child up in? When I think of what I sacrificed all those years for Leslie's education. Do you know that Clive was offered a very well-paid job in Croydon, London? But we didn't take it because we did not want Leslie to be brought up near to bad city influences. I mean, tell me something. Where will they find a babysitter? Just can't trust anybody with the stories you read about in the newspapers. It's not safe to leave a child with anybody outside the family. Well, even inside the family, it seems to be a bit of a minefield if there are male members. I shan't see my little baby girl grow up. That's the worst thing. And by the time I do see her again, she'll be talking with that horrible accent. They've left me with their house to sell and various bits of furniture to arrange shipment and storage for. Why couldn't Leslie have stayed behind and done that herself? How irresponsible for all three of them to fly in a plane together, you know? You never get the royal family doing that, and they're seasoned air travellers. It's 5 a.m. and it is too late for me to go back to bed. And I couldn't sleep anyway, despite the brandy that I have taken just to dull my emotions.
I have never felt so alone in my whole life. You know, I'm even beginning to question whether there's a God. Which is something that Reverend Bruce could have helped me with if he were not on a retreat on Mykonos. Do you think you could please come and help me out, Vera? You know, I am not one to ask for favours lightly. But I really do need a friend. My brandy glass has just shattered in my hand. For no apparent reason. You see, everything just seems to be going against me. I'd ring the Samaritans, but there's no call for them in these parts.
Oh, Irene.
Leslie just rang, bubbling over. They arrived safely. She's completely failing to grasp the fact that if I'd been asleep, she would have woken me. I suppose I'm going to have to face years now of sleepless nights wondering if she's going to call. She wouldn't put Cheryl Marie to the phone, but I could hear her crying in the background. I knew she wouldn't be happy there. What can I do? Yours, in utmost distress, Irene.